welcome to an Everyday Canines video. This episode of the Pup to Pro series, we're looking at introducing puppy bumps and jumps to get our dogs starting to understand the concept of jumps. There are lots of ways to do this. Some people will just, if you've got two of you and it works quite well, you can have someone hold the dog and you can be ahead and you can have a toy in your hand or call them to you and lure them over. That works really well. I spend a lot of time training on my own, so I need to think of things in a slightly different way. I can actually get Magpie to sit and go out to a toy, but I want to do things slightly different. So what I've been doing a lot with Magpie is shaping games. And what that means is just getting her around an object and just getting her to do stuff over it and just build up an interest in that object without me actually telling her to do anything. She's just working it out herself. If you've watched an earlier video when we were doing hoops, we did this with hoops. So it's the same difference. So I've got treats in my hand and I'm just going to walk here and, oh good, search. All I want her to do is to see this puppy bump and go over it. Now she's obviously done this a bit time, search. And she's used to seeing, search, you're not actually jumping lovely. She's used to seeing, doing shaping games. So it's quite easy for her. She has sin wings, so it's quite easy for her. But the concept is pretty much there, what I want her to do. I'm just, good girl, search. I just want her to go over, search. Now the one thing that is a problem, search, is that she is looking at me. So I'm trying to get the treat out there, search, before she looks at me so that she's driving ahead. So once I've done a bit of shaping to get value for this jump, I mean, she's now doing this, I'm just switching to the other side so she knows she can do it on either side of me. This is building up nice value for the obstacle, because every time I'm putting that sausage over there, it builds up that extra value to say, oh, if I go over this, I get rewarded. So that's really good. But as you can see, search, unless I throw it ahead of her, which I don't want to do when I'm shaping, I am still getting that looking towards me. So I want to move on from there to get rid of that head checking, because I don't want that when she's actually jumping along a line. And that's something that I find can be a problem when you're doing stuff like this. Some people get really good at preventing the dog looking up. I'm not quite as good as that. I find it really hard to get that out on shaping. So we're going to do different things. So first off, we're going to need that weight that we've been working on. Sit. Hopefully you've been working on it. It is going to be something that's pretty vital in your agility and in life in general. So I do recommend it. And I'm switching up to a toy. Toy is higher value for Magpie. So you can see there's like, oh, there's a toy. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to have her this side of the jump in a sit weight. We've built up that value. I'm going to move ahead. Madam, braid in gear. Mags, sit, good girl, sit. And I'm going to move this side of it. I'm going to have the toy. It's a bit of a lure at this stage. And I'm going to put in my cue to tell her to go. Go, get it. Good girl, good girl, nice. Now, ideally, because she's had that value for going over this puppy bump, good girl, it will be no problem for her to go across. Equally, the way you're positioning yourself will help that. If it was an issue, and she didn't go across, what we would do, thank you, it's a mine, come here. We'd set her up closer, Mags, sit. We'd be here and we'd do it really close. And we might even do it with a treat rather than a toy. So, and I'm just going to say get it this time because I don't actually need to release her. Get it. So she's really has no, if she wants to get that toy, the most direct line is to go over the puppy bump. Good girl. Okay, it's a mine. It's a mine. Good. Okay, sit. So now I'm going to be a bit further away. So she's got to drive to me a bit more. Go, get it. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. So we're building up all that value, driving over that jump. But this we're building up going towards me. We're looking ahead. Good girl. Nice. Obviously we're going to do on one side, then we do on the other side. Good girl. Okay, it's a mine. It's a mine. Now at this stage it's still quite a static object because we're using it as a lure. Good girl, sit. So this time, sit. I'm going to put it out in front of her and I'm going to step away from it. Now this took quite some work, Magpie, good sit, because as soon as I put it on the floor she wanted to get it. So it has taken a bit of work to build up to this stage. So I suggest if you can't put the toy out in front of your dog or food without them breaking their weight, good girl, good sit, then I would work on that completely separate without a jump. Did you sit too long? Sit. But she's getting better right now. Now I'm going to move out of the way. Sit. Go wait to make sure she's looking at the toy. Go! Get it! So now I've taken me out of the picture. We're getting her to drive away from me, which is excellent when we're doing agility. We want them to be driving ahead of us, away from us. We don't want them constantly looking to know where we are. Now, bear in mind that a dog has got very good peripheral vision. They will, even if their head is forward, they will know where their handler is, generally, unless you're a really long way away. So they'll still be using you as some sort of context, but what we don't want is them constantly checking in after every jump, which can happen sometimes when people do other things. One of the things, if people do where they lead the dog over on a lead, which I'd never do because it's pointless, but then what can happen is the dog gets very fixated on the handler, and then you notice that when they start doing things, they're looking after every jump. So we're going to do that again. Max, good girl. But I'm going to do the other side this time. Sit. Now you notice I'm getting her a little bit further back from the jump each time, so she's having more options of whether she's going to take this jump or not. Sit. And I'm going to go a bit further back myself. Wait for her to look at the toy. Go! Get it! So she's got more choice now. Good girl. Come here, Trouble. She's got more choices now about where she can go. She can pick to go around that jump if she wanted to. But she's not, because she's got the value. So now we're getting there. We want the next step of things. Now this is the hardest step, because what we're asking our dog to do now is drive over that jump without there being a lure. This can be a little bit of a sticky point, because now they're going to have trouble. So this is where we want to get some forward focus onto the jump and see if they'll go, because what I'm going to do is, as she's going, I'm going to throw the toy in. This might be where she starts looking back at me again for the reward, and if it is, it's going to tell me I need to work on that. But I can help her a little way. Right, Mags, can you sit? Good girl. If I step behind her, sit, and wait for her to look. Go! Get it! Now, did you see she turned around? That's actually the first time I've done that with her in that situation. And she was like, oh, what does that mean, go? Good girl, good girl. So that clearly took a little bit of thinking. So let's do that again, see what she does. But I waited until she was looking ahead at the jump, and as soon as she was, good girl, good girl, good girl. Nice, good girl. I let her go. Okay, come here. I'm going to step away, and I'm going to wait for her to look. I'll look at the jump as well, and I hope that helps. Even if she just glances that way, I'll reward that. That was the wrong way, look that way. Go! Get it! And I know she wasn't looking at the jump, but she was looking away from me. And when I said go, she parried over the jump. So this is just building up your basics. You can do that in the garden. You can see where I need to work more. Good girl. And as we get more and more, good girl, we can build into more jumps. So that is your foundations, work on them. Good girl, and you're going to have a dog that has epic jump commitment. Yes, good girl. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, you might like to check out the YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook and on Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can keep up to date with all the new videos coming out. And I hope to see you all again very, very soon.